record. So thank you guys all for getting on. I know it's Thanksgiving week. We all probably have a ton of stuff going on. I have a super early morning departure time tomorrow. So, but I hope you guys have awesome plans for the week and enjoy some downtime too. So, but I'm glad you were able to jump on here tonight. Announcements wise, there's not a lot at this point. I mean, you guys know the deal for this month as far as challenge packs. I just opened the holiday survival guide group. So if you have any people jumping on like in the next day, you can add them in there. Other than that, that is pretty much it. In the way of recognition, we've got Katie leading the team with 5 this month. So she's hit Success Club, which is awesome. I'm really proud of her. Sick and all, she's doing well. I've got 4. Carrie's got 2, and then Melissa has 2. So you guys are doing well. I know this is a tough month. It's not a popular time of year for people to be focusing on their health and fitness. But, you know, the more that you continue to show them that you're doing that, even now, it's going to be great. So, so just keep plugging away at it. I know Carrie had somebody commit this week that she's been talking to for like a few weeks. And so they don't always jump on right away, but they jump on. So, so anyways, tonight what I wanted to talk about, because I've had a couple different coaches. It's funny. I feel like things just happen. And like, that's sort of where I get topics for these calls. If I hear the same question a couple of times, I feel like, well, maybe I should revisit that topic with the group. I know a while ago I took you guys through the process that I use, the invitation flow process, which I do have that document still in the file section of Iron Revolution. But I know that there's sticking points in conversation too. And I know that it's hard to feel like you're not selling. So the thing is, I've reached a point in my conversations where I don't feel like that anymore. So I want to help you guys not feel like that, because if you don't feel like you're pushing a product on somebody, you feel like you're helping them, it's easier to move a conversation along. At least for me, and I'm thinking that's probably not an uncommon experience. So when I am inviting somebody, literally, no joke, my initial invite is like the simplest thing you've ever heard in your life. It's like, hey, I was getting some stuff ready for my next challenge group. Lately, I've been specifying that it's a holiday survival guide group. But sometimes I just say I was getting some stuff ready for my next online health and fitness group. I thought of you, or I wanted to invite you. And are you interested? Like, my invites are literally that simple. I don't ask them if they want to buy a challenge pack. I don't ask them if they want to do P90X3. I just ask them if they're interested. So it's kind of like I was talking about last week. Like, you want to leave them with that one thought. Am I interested? Do I want to join them? Those are the things you want them thinking about at the end of your invite. So I leave it really short and sweet. Now, what tends to happen is you get that infamous question, well, what does this all entail? And that, for me, I'm way more anxious about that question than sending the invite, because I'm like, you have to at that point then taper this, like, well, it's about and you do this workout and you drink this shake and you're in this challenge group, and you're like, you have to be like, okay, calm down. They don't understand all this stuff yet. So I usually respond with something super simple, and I'll just say, you know what, I'll make sure to get you, well, actually, I'll usually say something like, you know, it's an online community of people working towards their health and fitness goals. Does that sound like it would meet a need for you? So I give them a question back. The other thing I'll do is I'll say, I'll make sure to connect you with all those details in a later message. But first, I really want to know more about you. What would be your health and fitness goals if you were to invest in this group, or if you were to sign up for this group? So just quickly change the conversation back to them. You're not dodging their question, but the thing is, you want them to connect with you and the fact that you're ready to meet a need in their life first. Before you introduce any products to them, you want to build that connection. So by turning the conversation back on them, like, think of a conversation you're having with a friend and you had something on your mind. but they couldn't stop talking about what's going on in their life. And you want to be a good friend and you want to listen, but you can't convey to them a need you're having because they're too busy talking about themselves. So if you launch into everything that a challenge group, challenge pack is, you're being that friend that hasn't let them talk. So you want to give them that opportunity to say, oh, I should think about my goals and what I might want to do. And I can't tell you how many times I've had these conversations where somebody will be like, I can't believe you emailed me right now. I've just been wanting to get back on track. Or I just had a challenger tell me recently who signed up as a coach today. She was like, I can't believe I shared that in Iron Revolution. Like, I had just the week before you messaged me been saying it was time to get serious. And then your message came through and I knew that was God speaking to me, so she's a believer and we share that. But I didn't know that. Like, I literally hadn't talked to her in probably 20 years. Okay, so you just don't know what's happening in the background before you send these invites. So give them an opportunity to tell you. If they're asking you what it entails, that's probably a yes, they're interested. Give them an opportunity to say why. So put the question back on them and let them answer some questions about themselves. Okay, so once I do that, I'll reiterate here and there, I really think this group can meet some needs for you. And I'll interject why. And then I'll go back to them. What are your fitness interests? How do you like to exercise? Because you don't want to set them up with PIO if they hate yoga, right? So you want to walk them through that process. So go back to them. What do you like to do? Ask them to walk you through a typical day of nutrition. So you're pulling information from them this whole time, okay? And then what you're going to do to transition the conversation is to say, okay, you've told me that these are your goals, and you want to repeat their goals back to them. One, because it shows that you've listened. And Facebook makes it easy because you just go scroll back up to the top of the conversation, because a lot of times a few messages have gone by and you've got to remember, and you repeat what they said. I really think that you can benefit from this program and losing 10 pounds or getting toned and things like that, and connect it back to why and the value of the program. I also like to take the conversation a little deeper, because people are going to tend to give you fluffy answers. I want to tone up. They'll say like, I want to lose weight and tone up. That's a very, very common one. So then I'll go back and I'll say, what would losing weight and toning up allow you to experience in your life that you're currently missing? Like, what is it? Do you want to fit into a dress that you can't wear anymore? But I won't plant those questions. I'll just let them explain to me, but I'll repeat to them what they told me and ask them why. And sometimes I'll say, I find that my most successful customers are the ones that can connect their goal with why they want to accomplish that goal. Okay, so you want to be giving them the benefits of digging a little deeper with this process. I do not send any links to anything until I fully understand where they want to go with this and why this program could benefit them. Okay, and then I'll usually start with have you ever felt like this video that introduces the challenge group and challenge pack option? And when I send them the link, it'll be because I've connected their goals to what the program can offer, and I'll ask them, do you have a few minutes to check this video out? And they'll usually tell you yes. When you send them the link, then you want to say, okay, great, here's the link. It's about 5 minutes long. When is the best time for you to watch it? And the reason you're going to ask them that is because you need them to tell you when it's okay to follow up with them. You don't want that link sitting in their inbox and not knowing when you should check back and feel like you're harassing them. So if they tell you I can check it out tonight, then okay, I'll follow up with you tomorrow. And then when you follow up, if they haven't watched it, you followed through with what you said you were going to do. Okay, so going back to that analogy of the good friend, if you say you're going to be there, you're going to show up and be there. And you're going to do that. That gives you that time, so you don't have to have that awkward moment of like, are they ready to hear from me, or are they not ready to hear from me? Do you guys have any questions so far? I'm kind of going a little fast because I want to get to your sticking points.
Where is that link to that you send them?
Oh,
like, yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of them. Which one? The Ever Felt Like This video?
Yeah.
That is in the file section of Iron Revolution. There's a file called Common Links. And what I did, because I had done it for myself, it's all the links to pretty much the major programming and videos you're going to want to incorporate. And you just have to plug in your coach ID or your screen name. So if there's X's, you're just going to plug in your 6-digit coach ID number. So those are all available, so you don't have to search them in the back office. I had put them together, and I was like, I might as well share this with them and save them some time. So those are all back there. So utilize that file section to your advantage, because I tried, oh gosh, am I losing connection? I try, as I find things to be more efficient, I try to share them with you guys, because I don't want you spinning your wheels, and I don't want you wasting your time. So you don't have to do my system, but I really try to plug you into what's saving time for me. And having those links ready in a note on my phone saves me a ton of time. I don't have to go back and search anything. So once you make those links unique to you with your coach ID, save them to a note in your phone and you have them. Okay? So those are all back there. Any other questions before I go on here? Okay. So, so I've asked them the link. I've sent them the link. I've asked them for a follow-up time. When we get to the follow-up, I check back in. Hey, have you had a chance to watch the video? And I let them reply. And then I take the conversation in a positive direction. So I ask them what they liked best about it. Okay? Because you don't want them picking out, oh, those containers looked really small. Like, I don't know if I can do that. Or you don't want them picking out the negative side of, I don't know if I can commit to this program, right? You want to take that conversation positive. So let them tell you what they liked about it. And if they have complaints, those can come up, that's okay. But don't drive the conversation negatively. You know what I mean by that? Okay. So I asked them that. Once they give me that positive answer, then I go back and I tie that back to the goals they've given me. Okay. So I'm still not feeling like I'm selling them anything, because I know what this program did for me and I'm sharing it with them. So because I stay focused on what they need throughout the conversation. All right. So I tie back what they liked about the program to what they've told me they need in their life. And then from there, it's continuing to talk through anything, anything missing. And then you can sort of send them, if you've started with the introducing Beachbody Challenge or the Have You Ever Felt Like This video, and you need to show them a couple different product line options, you've already walked them through all the way through this process. They've already said they're on board. They already see the connection and where it can meet a need. So then you're just going to say, okay, I have a couple of different programs in mind for you based on what you've told me you're looking for. Do you have a few more minutes to watch a couple more videos? And I would pick out 2, like the top 2 you think would work for them. And honestly, if you think, like, for the most part, I sign pretty much everyone up with 21-day fix, because that seems to meet the most needs. Now, I don't force that. If somebody wants to do a different program, no big deal. But I think that trains fitness and nutrition the best and gives people the best start. So if you don't necessarily know the best starting point, I would default to that. But so then you want to get them to watch the specific program video. I want you to get a chance to see this live so you can understand how it works. Do you have a few more minutes to check that out for me? So you're kind of taking them through a process of watching 2 videos. Again, once they commit to a time and you follow up, you ask them what they liked best about it. Like, do you see this program being effective for you? And get them to talk about that. And then from there, it's just, okay, are you ready to do this? You know, so you're just taking them through that process of, you know, I've introduced you to this. I've told you you've got me, you know, remember, you are the value. Like, I need you guys to write that down and put it in 20 different places around your house, in your car, and in your office. You are the value. These products are amazing, but you're giving them something and they're never going to compensate you. You're not ever going to see a dime from these guys for your time. But don't let that distract you from the fact that you are the value in this equation, okay? Because every other program, they're just going to buy and try and do it on their own, and they don't have somebody that cares if they succeed with it. So by you being in the picture, you're creating an opportunity for them that they probably never had before, okay? If they go sign up for a gym membership and don't spend the money on a personal trainer, they're not getting somebody in their corner tracking with them and caring about them and plugging them into a community. And even if they do sign up for a personal trainer, they may not be getting that. So, you know, because they might just be getting the 45 minutes of that trainer's attention while they're in the gym, and a nutrition plan that makes them eat brown rice, salmon, and asparagus every day. You know, like, they're not going to get the same stuff. So don't forget where you fall in this equation, and that when you're introducing them to this opportunity, that you state that they're getting your personal support. And I go through all that. And then and then it's time for, I always usually say, like, I want you to be 100% comfortable before you sign up or before we proceed. Do you have any other questions? So you're giving them an opportunity to come back and ask some questions to you. And, you know, most of the time by then it's the price question. So when they ask the price question, I have a little blurb, and that's in the back. It's in the file section of Iron Revolution as well. And it's the cost to sign up is $140. And you get, and list it all out, and list them out in different bullet points so that, are we frozen? So that they see it, all the different things they're getting. Okay, so your complete DVD kit, you know, lay it all out. It's back there for you guys to see, so I don't have to go over it. But and make sure in there though that you're listing access to the challenge group and my personal support for daily support and accountability. And then I usually ask them, like, does that sound reasonable? You know, give them an opportunity to evaluate, like, I'm getting all that. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. And then from there, it's deciding on a Shakeology flavor and getting their email to send them the sign up link. But in following that process, I don't feel like I'm pressuring a product on someone anymore, because I've spent so much time asking them about them that if they don't truly know I'm invested in them by that point, something's off. So that's the process I go through. Now, as far as sticking points, where do you guys get stuck in your conversations? Are you frozen? No.
I think it's a lot of time a financial question, like, I can't afford that.
Okay. And then how do you respond? Are you frozen?
It's more like, okay, I understand. Nice talking.
Okay. So finances are hard, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to ask somebody to pay for something they don't feel like they can afford.
Yeah.
So I'll usually then follow up with, like, either and I bet it feels impossible to add anything to your budget. And, you know, either what would make it possible, or how would adding something affect you financially? get them to start just thinking, and it's not always going to work. Okay. We're not dealing with robots. And sometimes you have to account for the fact that somebody's just not ready to commit or financially assign that dollar amount. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong either. I want to reiterate that. But have them reflect a little bit, you know, how would adding this monthly expense affect you? And, you know, there is a money back guarantee. They can get every penny back if it's not effective, if that puts them at ease. But get them to tell you. And if they're spending $4 a day at Starbucks, you know what I mean? Like if they're having lunch out every day, get them to see some areas where maybe they're spending that they could not be spending, you know, and you don't want to force that, but just ask reflective questions that guide them. Like, okay, so do you take lunch or do you eat lunch out? You can be as soft as that. It doesn't have to be like, well, how much you spend on lunch every day? But get them to think like, where am I spending my money? Do I stop at Starbucks every day on the way to work? Like those drinks are literally $4.50. Have them factor in some of those things. So get them to tell you that. If truly finances are an issue, you can always default to just buying the program, which is cheaper, obviously, than the challenge pack. But usually I find that when people see the value, they don't argue as much about the money anymore. So, you know, it can be something where you can be like, well, you have these goals and there's a tool to help you with these goals. Would you be willing to set aside the money for 1 month to see how it works for you? You know, so you can ask some questions that just create, what, Carrie?
Rachel sneezed, so I said bless you on the chat. She's giggling because she saw me
the chat
for the thumbs up.
Sorry, I didn't see the chat going on. So my point in all that is just get them to start thinking about where, because you're going to spend money on what's a priority. So get them to start thinking about what's a priority. If they're really serious about this, it's not going to happen for free. And they're going to have to spend the money somewhere. And it's either going to be at a gym or with a nutritionist or on whole food at the grocery store. I mean, somewhere they're going to have to start making an investment. So it might as well be with you. But you just got to get them to start reflecting on, where is money going every month? Am I getting my nails done every 2 weeks? Because that's $80 a month. Do you know what I mean? Like, people might be spending money places that if this is truly a priority for them, what could go? And you don't have to ask harsh questions to get them there, but ask them questions that are going to be like, yeah, how am I spending my money every month? Do you know what I mean? Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if they, at the end of the day, can't do it, they can't do it. But you're letting them know that you're there for them and that these are tools there. And then back to you being the value, you're not asking them to pay you, you're asking them to invest in their tools to use at home, because you can't go push play for them, right, at their home. So you need them to have a tool set so that you can coach them. But again, they're going to spend money somewhere to get fit. It might well be on this system.
Right. You can also do a comparative. I had a patient ask me where she could get PIO from, and she was like, oh, can I get it on Amazon? Can I do this? And I actually went on Amazon and I looked up how much it was, and it's like 70 something, and we can sell it for like 59 or whatever.
That's awesome.
I can't remember what it was. So I gave her a comparative. I said, okay, you can go on Amazon and spend $20 more if you would like, but with Beachbody, you not only get it cheaper, but you get the on-demand, you have the access to people and people who are willing to help you. So you can use a comparative, which,
yeah.
I mean, I'm still waiting for her to buy it, but I mean, it was useful, and it was informative to me to know that there's other ways that I can kind of like go around it as well.
That's a great tool. That's a great tool. And where else are you guys finding that conversations are difficult, or you're getting a stopping point and not knowing where to lead things from there?
I've had a face-to-face. My coworker, she really wanted to do it. She was so gung-ho and everything. And we talked about it. And I talked to her about it for like 2 weeks because I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, what do you want to do? She actually had gotten a personal trainer in that time. And then she told me what the personal trainer was telling her. And I was like, she's out of her mind. This doesn't make any sense. She was like, I need you to lose 48 pounds of body fat. And I was like, I don't understand what she's trying to tell you. But now she's keeps telling me she's going to do it. Like, I see her at work and she's like, oh, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it tonight. Tonight's been like a week. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, do I remind her again? Or
so you have the order link sent to her and she hasn't finished it. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So there's so many different reasons for that. Sometimes they're truly just not checking in and doing that. There's a couple different ways. You can resend the confirmation email so it shows back up in their inbox. Is it 21-day fix or what is it?
It is.
Okay. So if it's 21-day fix, it goes off sale at the end of the month.
Right.
So
I'm kind of like, ugh.
Yeah. So that's a good tool to use. And I would, and use your challenge group start dates, because remember, if they buy it, like if she would have bought it by Saturday, she would get it in time to run this holiday survival guide group with us. But now she buys it. Now she probably should go into the next cycle on the group. Katie starts mid-month. So then it's a waiting period. So I would use things like that. Like, hey, I don't want you to miss out on starting this group with us. And, you know, you got to get your order processed so that you get your stuff in time. So you can always say,
I just hope I haven't like scared her off, because I do some of my workouts at lunch and she sits there and kind of like watches me, and I'm like, I know I do some of the more advanced stuff, and I'm kind of like, but there's a person in there that does modifications and she's not very athletic, I guess you could say. So like, I think some of the stuff may scare her, but I mean, but that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And it's like where you want to get to, I guess. I don't know.
But so
I feel bad because she does watch me.
Yeah. But ask her, just be like, is there anything, are you uncomfortable with anything? You know, ask her, give her an opportunity to say like, I don't think I can do this, you know?
Okay.
And then you can reassure her, but don't assume, because that may not be the issue, but present the question, be like, is there anything holding you up from purchasing? Like, I really want to support you in this. My next group is starting. I don't want you to miss out. And then just be like, do you have any concerns? Is there anything I'm not aware of that I should factor in? And just give her an opportunity to talk. And
yeah.
The lingering link. It's a pain. It's a pain.
It is.
I find it happens less if I've taken them through that conversation fully, though. I do find it happens less. So the better you can get at that conversation process and tying it back into meeting their needs, you're going to start to find that link doesn't sit out there anymore, because they're like anxious for it by the time it gets to them.
Okay.
So I would start with a conversation. Be like, hey, I don't want you to miss out. Is there anything you're worried about? You know, can I answer any questions before you sign up?
Yeah. Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah. Question. Do you guys ever talk to people through Instagram or just Facebook?
I've just started to. Rachel, do you?
I've had a couple, but that's for me, the ones that have like reached out to me and tried to talk to me, they want me to represent something else for them.
Yeah.
And generally, like, you have to pay to be a rep, and I'm like, I'm not gonna rep your clothes for $100.
Yeah.
No. So there's only the lot of the people that follow me are already in a program. So that's why I find it really difficult on Instagram, because you're like, it's nice that you're liking all my stuff and whatever, but they're in programs already. So that's really hard. There's been a couple where I've tried to, you have to direct message them, which to me is kind of creepy.
It is kind of creepy, yeah.
You have to go to the picture and send them a message from the picture. You have to basically send them your picture.
Yeah.
So
I think from there though, you can start a conversation.
Yes. Yeah. You can write text with it. Yeah.
Right.
So I have a similar problem. I get a lot of businesses liking my stuff. I get a lot, and I'm like, I don't care that you want me to come to your store.
Right.
I do have one store here in Coral Gables though that like will repost my stuff, so that's really awesome, and their customers see my stuff.
Yeah.
But so I have a good relationship with them. But the conversations I've started on Instagram, if somebody has liked a post on a challenge group opportunity or something, I'll direct message them that photo. Hey, thanks for liking my post. Were you interested in this group? So I've done that. I get a lot of no thank yous with that. People like pictures and they don't read the post, but the post says like this post for more info. So then I'm doing what I said I was going to do, and I'm following up. Read the post next time, kind of thing. So, and I've started doing that on Facebook too. Instead of asking them to leave their email or to comment, I'm just saying like this post, because it gives you that eerie feeling of like, oh gosh, I have to reach out to this person now. And they might not actually want to know. They might just be liking my photo and didn't read it. But you know what? Whatever. The post says like it for more info, and I'm going to reach out, and then they can tell me no. It's okay. Like seriously. No's are no big deal. Like I promise you that I had a girl who just bought a challenge pack literally last year, told me, no, I'm super into paleo and I like to make my own food, and I don't want to drink my breakfast and not wanting anything to do with this, right? And I'm like, I hope you don't think I'm trying to get you to buy processed food. Like you make your own food and put it in the containers. She's like, no, I know you wouldn't represent anything. She just bought a challenge pack yesterday. Like, so it was a no last year, but her life circumstances has changed and now she wants to know about it. So it made this conversation a lot easier because we'd already visited the topic a year ago. But now all of a sudden she moved to a new area. She doesn't have support. And now she needs what I have to offer. So like, seriously, like don't worry about people that aren't committing or people that are telling you no, because their life circumstances are going to change at some point. I was listening to a call from Amy Silverman. She's like one of the top 10 coaches. And she was telling the person she was talking to, she was like, most of the people that told me no 2 or 3 years ago are current customers or coaches. So you just have to get over that. Like they will either come around or it's okay if they don't. You don't want somebody committing that's not ready to do this with you. So on the invite front and on the sending messages when you're not totally sure if they want more information, like just don't let that be your burden. If they're not interested, they'll say no thank you. And that's it. And then you move on because there's other people to help. So but yeah, so that's how I've used Instagram. I pretty much only do it with that. If I put a post out there where I said like this post, I'll send a direct message to those people. But I don't waste my time messaging the businesses that like my post, and I don't waste my time, to be honest, messaging men that like my post, because I'm going to connect with women. That's my market. So that's just me. But I know Rachel's got an awesome guy customer. So, like, he might be special, or she might be better at connecting with men. I don't. And I honestly don't want to form that connection either, because that can get a little, I don't want any funny business happening. So I don't reach out to men. But you guys do whatever's right for your business. So that's how I use Instagram, and that's how I've started using my Facebook as far as having an easier way to start conversations. So I don't know, has it helped you guys a little bit in inviting and getting through sticky parts of conversations? And did I miss anything?
No, I think you did a really good job, like really thorough. And those documents definitely help in the back office. I just need to read them. Thanks for
and that's why, like, sometimes I hesitate to revisit topics because I don't want to overload you with the same information, but I forget who was on an original call, or who was paying attention when I posted it to the group. So, and you guys know I'm available to answer questions, but if, as far as like having a resource of your own that you can tailor to you, there's a bunch of stuff back there in the file section of our group, in an effort to try and keep you from reinventing the wheel. So, but if you're stuck in a conversation, like, where do I go from here? I message me and be like, this is where I'm at. I don't know what to say, you know, and I can help you through that, because I'm getting to a point where I've had enough conversations I can work through it. But at the same time, we're not dealing with computer programs. Like, I'm telling you, sometimes people just aren't going to be ready to do it. And you can't feel like you can't take that burden on yourself to say like, oh, I'm messing it up. Like, because you're probably not. Like, they're not ready to go there with you, and that's okay.
Yeah, I had to learn that when I did do personal training, because I worked at 24 Hour Fitness and I was a personal trainer, and I was like, you really want me to sell like 100 workout sessions? Like, people aren't going to want to buy that. And so for me, that was really hard, because I was like, now I actually have to sell like myself, and that's hard. That's harder than selling a product.
Yeah.
Because they have to believe in you in that same time that you only sit down with them for 10 minutes. And that's really hard. So, yeah, this is a little easier for me.
Yeah. And this gives you a platform to carry on a conversation more than that face-to-face time, you know? So you can build that connection a little bit easier because you have a direct way to communicate with them. It's a little creepy if your personal trainer is texting you, like, how's your day going? You know, but as somebody that you've communicated with online, that's kind of normal. Yeah. So, but that's a good point. You know, you do have to sell yourself a little bit, and that's where your consistency comes into play. You know, people want to know that you're still in it a year later. So when you invited them and then they're not sure, but like a year later, they're still seeing like, oh, she's still doing this. She still looks pretty good. They're going to start to rethink why they didn't commit. And maybe you put out an invite at that time and it meets a need for them. So never underestimate where people are at in their life. Never underestimate what's going on in the background, and just show them you as the value.
Yeah.
Okay. We're down to our last minute, so I'll close out the call, but you guys are awesome. It was fun talking with you tonight. I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, post them in the group or message me, or we can get on freeways with your coach too. So, all righty.
Hey,
have an awesome Thanksgiving. You girls are the best.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.